Thank you very much. I now humbly welcome the IEBC CEO, James Oswago.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Part of the reason I'm here is to explain the process that we have undertaken in processing those documents. That is the main reason why I'm here. A minor reason why I'm here is to show that I'm neither in prison nor am I dead. But I'm stressed though and very tired. This is a difficult process because you have to get it right first time. That does not mean mistakes will not occur here and there, but the important thing is to put in place a mechanism where even if mistakes occur, they can be detected and very quickly corrected. So we are working closely with political party representatives who we give some of the materials we have for them to look at. And each and every time I have heard from them that certain things need to be looked into. We have tried to do so and we shall continue to do so. We have divided the whole process into 9 teams, and those teams focus on different counties. If it is not a bore, I would read those for you. We have a team dealing with, we call it Team 1, that deals with Kakamega, Vihiga, and Bungoma and Busia counties. Team number 2, Marsabit, Isiolo, Meru, Tharaka Nithi, Embu, Kitui, Machakos, and Makueni counties. Team number 3, Garissa, Wajir, Mandera. Team number 4, Trans Nzoia, Uasin Gishu, Elgeyo Marakwet, Nandi, Baringo, Laikipia, Nakuru, Narok, Bomet, and Kericho. The other team deals with Mombasa, Kwale, Kilifi, Tana River, Lamu, and Taita Taveta. Those teams work independently. Constituencies that are under those counties report to those teams independently. When those teams have done their work, they submit that work to what we call the National Audit Office. This is headed by one deputy to the Chief Secretary and CEO, who happens to be myself, and they also do their work independently. When that is done, we send those documents for announcement and also for keying in there has been some disconnect between documents being brought here to be announced and the results being keyed in. We have perfected that process so that what is keyed in or what is announced is what is keyed in. As we are now, there are a key portfolio of areas which are either have been announced or not keyed in, or keyed in and being announced. We have stopped the process briefly just to ensure that we have a printout of what has been announced in order to make sure that it reconciles with that which has been keyed in. But that's not a big worry, because at the end of the process, we will create a document with 8 copies containing Form 34. That is the form that the returning officers bring to us. We will create a document containing all of that, and that will be given to you at one point in this process, either at the end of it or just shortly before the end of it, so that you can have a quick look at it. Now, there's some work still outstanding, about 30 constituencies, but all the work has arrived. We had a small problem with the returning officer from Mathare, but now she's brought the work. We had also a small problem with the returning officer from Iebc, but the work is also here. So now we have all the work, and there are different stages of processing, and we will finish this work tonight. The chairman wants it now, but I've been requesting him that we will make sure it is done. And I hope by the time we read this report, if it is 4 o'clock, all of you will be here. Generally, these are the areas, now speaking by provincial regions. These are the areas with outstanding work. Central, we have finished. Nyanza, we have 3 still pending. Nairobi 1, Eastern 1, Eastern 2, Coast Province none, Western 10, Rift Valley about 12, Northeastern nil. It may not add up, but the total is about 30. I want to repeat that we are dedicated and determined that this process must end up today. I want to repeat that it combines 2 things: the need for expeditious disposal of the load of work before us, and also the need for diligence and the correct disposition of the work. You have to balance both 2, and we shall ensure that by the time we finish this work to you, you may at least say it was not brought as fast as you expected, but that the quality is one that is beyond reproach. I've been asked that there are questions which I'll be required to take. I'll be more than delighted to take up the questions, but I don't know, Mr. Chairman, if I can invite you now, or I take the question first. I will take the question first, and I'm glad that the chairman is here so that he can take the more difficult ones. Yes, sir.
When I look at these results, when I look at the results that we have presented to the public, I tried adding up what you have for various candidates. Then I added to that the rejected votes. It does not tally with what you have given us total votes cast. Then I added the votes rejected and the valid votes. It does not match what I added, the votes for the candidates and the rejected votes. There is a difference between those 2 figures of 23,000 plus something votes. So that suggests that what you are giving the public is wrong, is suspect. And this is what you are giving the nation of, the Kenyan nation. Mr. Swag, thank you. Mr. Swago, sir.
No, I'm not finished. Let me answer the professor first. It is me who is answering. I'll answer the professor first. Please, sir, please. When I finish the professor, I'll give you the chance. Thank you very much. Can you sit down and answer the professor, please? Now, perhaps I didn't say it. Perhaps I didn't say it. And if I didn't say it, I'm absolutely to blame for it. I want to get questions first from the press. First from the press. When I'm done with the press, then we'll go to any other person who might have a question. But there's a reason for that. But Professor, thank you very much that when somebody told you I'm no longer here, you said you sympathize with me. Thank you. Now, can I have questions from members of the press if there is any? Because the more I stay here, I don't want to use longer stay here as an excuse for the delayed results. Question from members of the press. Very good. Now that there is no question from members of the press, yes. Thank you. You asked me if I could comment on that. Yes. I got a 411 that it has been dismissed. If there's no other question from the members of the press, and using the absence of question from members of the press as a reason for my quick exit, I will now leave, and I'll invite my chairman. Are you from the press? Sir, are you? Yes. If you're not from the press, the chairman is coming. Chairman will answer your question. But I said, if it is a technical question purely to do with the process you are doing, and the press doesn't have it, that's all. Thank you very much for your question will be answered, Professor, either now. And I said the process we are doing is not unimpeachable. I said there could be one thing or the other which you've not done well, an addition or something, and we have said you give us the chance. We'll give you an opportunity to answer those, and we'll provide you with every single document that you want to look at. I repeat, every single document that you want, we'll give you a photocopy of it. We'll give you time to look for it and give us an answer. If you still are unsatisfied and you want to take this process elsewhere, we can encourage you. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you very much, the Commission Secretary and CEO. I know he was very busy supervising the staff at the tallying center, and we called him to explain what they were doing for the media and members of the agents, political party agents who are here. I want to thank my fellow Kenyans for their patience and understanding. We don't take it for granted. We know, although we have a legal date within which to announce results, we know they expected these results much earlier, and I promised so. But sometimes you plan things and they don't go according to your plans. And so, as the Secretary said, we are working round the clock to ensure that we finalize the results today. Let me, in the same vein, commend very much the Secretariat led by the Secretary of the Commission, the directors and the managers, the regional election coordinators, the constituency election coordinators who are the returning officers, and all the polling officials who work for the Commission for a commendable job they have done and are doing to enable us have a peaceful elections. For them, this is not just a job, it's also a national service. They are helping us deliver the vote to the people and ensure that we have a credible election. Like I said, we sincerely apologize for delay in releasing these results much earlier than expected. I want to thank everybody who has been here for cooperation, the political party, the chief agents and their presidential agents. I want to make it very clear. The chief agents and the presidential agents have a right of access to the chairman of the commission and the commission anytime they wish to do so. So honorable members who are agents of any of the candidates, others who are also not members of parliament but who are also agents, you have a right to come and see us if you have got any particular issue you want to raise with us. As the Secretary has said, before any announcement is made, you are given copies of the results being announced. You are also being given updated tally sheets. But this is still something which is going on. Even at the end of the 290 constituencies are read, we will still have to make sure the correct figures have been entered. As James said, there could be some errors during the entry of the numbers. Those can be corrected very easily because, in fact, as we were during the course of yesterday, some 2 or 3 errors were pointed out to me, and I notified the data entry people to rectify that. So what we call errors on the face of the record can easily be rectified. I want to assure everybody that the results you are seeing being released here are credible and they reflect the will of the people who voted in those constituencies. As we try and make sure we finish these results and declare the election, I want to ask you to remember that we have to moderate between accuracy and speed and the human resource capacity. People getting fatigued, working long hours throughout the night. So we understand the heavy toll it's taking on the staff. But we want to again assure you we will hope to deliver as soon as possible. Thank you very much. I'll take questions. For for the chief agents and the presidential candidates, you have a right of access to me. Please, let's not raise it here. I'm asking the media to ask questions. Please. Thank you very much.
Well, the IEBC just concluding the press briefing here, and it looks like the wait continues. That briefing, the IEBC saying, was just about the process that is going on here at the National Tallying Center. The IEBC chairman, Isaac Hassan, apologizing for what he says is the delay in the release of the eagerly awaited results, but he is making an assurance that the results will be credible and will reflect the will of Kenyans. He says it has been difficult sort of in the last few days, and he says the commission is trying to juggle between accuracy and the human resource capacity. He says the officials are working long hours, fatigue is setting in, but he is assuring that the results will be credible and that the commission will ensure that accurate results are delivered. But he admitted that there were some errors that have been detected here and there, and even earlier before he spoke, Iebc Briefing raising a concern, saying that there was a discrepancy in the figures that the IEBC is displaying here. They have taken down that slide here, so I would have just tried to add up the figures to see if they will tally or if there will be any discrepancy, as Iebc Briefing alleged there. The number of total votes cast plus those rejected, he says, was not corresponding with the number of valid votes. He said he was adding the valid votes plus the rejected votes, and it wasn't coming to the number of total votes cast. Executive earlier before the chairman spoke, also seeking to calm the nerves, saying the process was taking longer. Before they took down the slide, we had 53 constituencies to go. Oswago says there are only about 30 to go, which means the commission has already finalized with 23 constituencies, but they have not been fed into the slide that we are using, the big screen that we are using here. The IEBC chief executive saying that there are only 30 constituencies to go. He also said that they had problems with the Mathare constituency and Endebess. There is an announcement being made here by the IEBC communications.
Chief agents, right now, please come to the VIP lounge. Attention, please. All the presidential chief agents are requested to meet the IEBC chairperson.
That is Tabitha Mutemi, who's in charge of communications at the IEBC, calling for a meeting with the presidential chief agents. As I was saying earlier, James Oswago, the IEBC chief executive officer, saying that they had the problems with returning officers from Mathare and Endebess. He says those results are still being processed. He says there are about 30 constituencies to go. So once the slide is up and running again, we will see whether the IEBC has fed into their database the 23 constituencies that we are missing in the figures that should be displaying here. He of course explained, James Oswago explained, that they have teams that are focusing on different regions in the tallying center. Remember, the tallying center is a different room from here. Yesterday, party agents were blocked from accessing that tallying center. The IEBC saying that it was getting overcrowded. They were relocated to another room, but the IEBC saying they are still being facilitated with copies of the documents to enable them follow the verification and tallying process. For instance, team number 4 is in charge of among other areas: Trans Nzoia, Uasin Gishu, Elgeyo, Nakuru, Narok, Bomet, and Kericho. So here, and at that press conference as well, James Oswago dispelling a word that has been spreading, especially in the social media. There were reports that he had been arrested, and he told those gathered here at the Bomas plenary hall that he is neither in prison, neither is he dead, but said he was a little tired. He is very stressed by the whole process. But from this press briefing, the IEBC, what came out clearly, an apology from the IEBC over the continued delay in the release of the results. The IEBC also assuring that it is dedicated and determined to end the process today. This time, I think the IEBC was careful not to give any particular time as to when Kenyans can expect the results, just in case it doesn't meet that deadline again. Remember, It had promised to release the results within 48 hours after polls closed. That did not happen. Iebc Hassan on Wednesday promised that the results will be released by Friday morning. That as well didn't happen today. During the press conference a short while ago, the Commission just saying that it is committed to concluding the process by the end of today, which means by the end of the day is midnight. So maybe we shall expect to hear a final word from the IEBC before close of business today, before midnight. Once again, the IEBC chairman Iebc Hassan saying, or rather assuring, that results that the IEBC is tallying here will be credible and will reflect the will of the people. When you get back to us, I hope they will have put this total number of votes cast, the rejected votes plus the valid votes, so we can try and add the figures up to see whether Ayecho Olwenyi, who says there is discrepancy in the figures, was justified in his complaint, or there was no basis of that complaint. For now, though, I hand things back to our election center.
Great, many thanks, Rita Tinina. Of course, you're doing quite a lot of work there trying to tally these numbers and keeping awake. And it is interesting what the IEBC says, that indeed we will have the results before the end of today, but we may not have the complete exactly what time he will actually release the results. But Rita, probably last question, and very quickly, coming from social media, people asking, was the national anthem really necessary for that announcement?
Well, every time the chairman comes to make an announcement, they play the national anthem. When the commissioners come to announce the results, they don't play any national anthem. Yesterday it happened as well. The IEBC chairman came to address those who are gathered here some minutes to 6, and they played the national anthem. So, Bonnie, the national anthem is played each and every time that the IEBC chairman is coming to address the press and those who are gathered here, but it does not apply to when other commissioners come to announce the results. Bonnie.
Well, many thanks, Rita Tinina, for that clarification. Of course, coffee is coming your way. You need to keep awake as we wait for the all-important announcement. Of course, we do know that this process will be concluded before the end of today, and so we are keeping awake. And many thanks, Rita Tinina, for that update that you've given us from the IEBC, where the IEBC has just given us an update of what is happening. So far, we know 30 constituencies are what is remaining between now and knowing the 4th president of the Republic of Kenya, or really where this contest takes shape. Many thanks, Rita. We'll be talking to you much later. And of course, from Rita Tinina, our reporters are scattered all across the country, and they're trying to gather this information and give us as many updates as they can, and when they receive it. Asha Mwilu has put camp at the Catholic University, which is the official tallying center of the Jubilee Alliance, and we do know that there are preparations to have the presidential candidate Uhuru Kenyatta later on issue his speech, rather, whether he is of the outcome of this particular results. We'll now bring in Asha Mwilu from the Catholic University, that is the tallying center of the Jubilee Coalition. Good afternoon, Asha. Evening, rather.
Good afternoon. Afternoon, Tunya. How are you?
Great. How are the people, of course, Jubilee Coalition, how have they received the latest update coming from Oswago and Hassan?
Yeah, Tunya, well, this center, as I told you earlier on, had been set up since Monday, and there are 2 big screens inside this hall behind me. And so what's happening is that the Jubilee Coalition's party members and some of the senators that have already been elected and governors have been coming to this venue, and they're following the IEBC tallying very carefully from here. Of course, we're not seeing any celebration when Iebc Hassan or Mr. Oswago announces the results at the Bomas of Kenya. There's a lot of anxiety at this place. Of course, the big question is whether Uhuru Kenyatta will win the election with the 50% plus 1 votes that is required under the new constitution. And so there's a lot of anxiety here from the Jubilee members. We know that Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto are not at this venue, but they are at a nearby venue waiting anxiously for the final result. And then after that, they will be making their way here to make their speech that, of course, the whole country will be waiting for, whether they'll be accepting the win. If they win, and as numbers show, they could be well on the way to be the 4th president and vice president of this republic. Tunya.
Asha, and of course for Uhuru Kenyatta and the Jubilee coalition, it's only two ways. Either we go into a runoff or they actually win on majority vote. Earlier, Ron, you alluded to a speech that Uhuru Kenyatta was preparing. Do you have any information what it could contain?
Well, you know, they keep such speeches closely guarded. What we know is that there are two speeches that have been prepared. One, to accept the win, to accept the will of the people if Uhuru Kenyatta will have won the presidency with the margins that, of course, the Constitution requires. And the second speech is in case of a runoff. You know, everyone has been talking about this runoff, and the numbers have been very close. We've been seeing from the tallying at the Bomas of Kenya, Rita Tinina keeping us up to speed. You know, Raila Odinga coming up, his numbers coming up a bit slower, and then Uhuru Kenyatta's percentage coming down. And so people are saying the runoff speech is there just in case. You never know what might happen.
Well, great. Many thanks, Asha Mulu. And I'll insist, when you do get the contents of that speech, please relate to us. Asha Mulu is camping at the Jubilee Coalition's National Tallying Center at the Catholic University. Many thanks, Asha, for that update. And of course, we've just come from a press update by both the chairman and the CEO of the IEBC. And basically what they are saying is that we still have a few hours to go, or rather time. They didn't specify the time, but the word is that this process will indeed come to an end before the end of today. We just have the last 30 constituencies to go, and if you like, it's really on a knife's edge. This contest could go either way, and we are still keeping tabs with that to bring you the very latest as and when it happens. Of course, we also have information that there are some bit of problems which the CEO did not specify in Mathare and Iebc. Mathare being the only constituency in Nairobi County that has not submitted their final results. Of course, also Iebc, both problems, I guess, with the returning officer getting to the Bomas in time. But all those details, the IEBC says they are sorting them out. And indeed, also we had information where the chairman was reassuring Kenyans that the results that have been presented so far from that podium at the Bomas of Kenya are indeed credible. Also, we had the former member of parliament for Muhoroni, Professor I'm getting the names mixed up. But the professor was really questioning the credibility of the final tally and whatnot, and we are yet to get the final word from the IEBC. And of course, not being a member of the press, he may have to raise that issue with the IEBC. I understand we also have an update from the courts. Edith Kimani?
Well, that's absolutely right, Bonitonya. I was just waiting for the camera to get to me. And it is with regard to what is happening at the courts. Our reporter, Patrick Amimo, is currently standing by. We will be getting to him shortly. But just to tell you what we do know, and this is an update we're getting on Twitter via our Twitter handle, that's at KTN Kenya, and of course at Standard Media, is that the High Court has dismissed the civil society case, which was challenging the presidential results tallying process. And the group has been told to go to the Supreme Court, apparently because the High Court has no jurisdiction over this matter. But we will be getting details. But what we do know is that a 3-judge bench was appointed to hear and determine this particular petition. It was by the Africa Center for Open Governance, or AFRICOG, and the justices Isaac Lenaola, David Majanja, and Weldon Korir were scheduled to heard the petition and of course gave their verdict on the same. As mentioned, Patrick Amimo will be bringing us details of that, together with what the lawyers who were against this petition might have said. There's a lot of speculation that the reason why the petition was filed in the first place was because of Section 82 of the Elections Act, which says that before the results can be tallied for the final vote, they have to be submitted or transmitted, if you like, electronically. But again, those details coming your way shortly. Right now, though, we do know that the Amani presidential candidate, Musalia Mudavadi, has conceded defeat, and it is ahead of the conclusion of the presidential vote tally. In his speech, Mudavadi said it is clear that the next president of Kenya will not come from his coalition. Mudavadi said he was ready to congratulate Uhuru and Raila, saying the next president will either be from the Jubilee or coalitions, and this is what he had to say.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming. We are the Amani Coalition, and this morning we would like to make a formal statement on the situation vis-a-vis the results that are now coming through following the general election. But before I say that or make my formal statement, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate members of our team or our coalition who have been elected in different parts of the country. We have senators, we have members of parliament, we have women members of parliament, we also have county reps, those are governors all over, and some governors who have also been elected. So I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the entire team to congratulate those who have been victorious, and to also congratulate and encourage those who may not have succeeded this time, and assure them that there's always another opportunity in future. So today I will make a formal statement, then maybe you may want to raise one or two questions, which hopefully we shall be able to respond to. Okay. My fellow Kenyans, I want to thank all of you for all the support you have given me in this year's elections, and indeed over the period of campaigns